In 2021, the Taliban famously defeated US forces and took over the country of Afghanistan. Before that, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan took so many resources it contributed to the collapse of the country. But how did Afghanistan become a country, and what happened in the history of Afghanistan to bring it where it is today? In 1709, the Pashtun people revolted against the Persians and gained independence. In 1722, they invaded and conquered the entire Persian Empire. It wasn't to last though. Russia and the Ottoman Empire immediately began encroaching on their territory, and Persia revolted and gained independence again in 1729. Finally, in 1738, Persia retook the land they had lost in 1709, and it was back to square one for Afghanistani independence. But not for long though. In 1747, the Persian emperor was assassinated and everyone declared independence, including Afghanistan. Afghanistan expanded into the territory of the Mughal Empire and what was left of the Persian Empire. But, like any great empire, decline was inevitable. In the early 19th century, Afghanistan lost its coastline as several countries declared independence from it. Later, Britain was afraid Russia would invade India, and wanted to put a pro-British government in Afghanistan to protect their territory. So in 1838 they invaded and briefly put a pro-British government in Afghanistan, but they had been driven out by 1842. In 1878 they invaded again, annexing territory up to Afghanistan's modern southern border, and installing the pro-British government they always wanted. Russia then conquered land in the north, bringing Afghanistan to what it is today. In 1919, the Third Anglo-Afghan War began, driving the British from the country within a matter of months. In the 1920s, the leader of Afghanistan put down 2 revolts before a third revolt was way too much for him. In 1929, he resigned and Afghanistan went through 4 different leaders in less than a year. In 1953, a pro-Soviet general became Prime Minister. He resigned in 1963 but retook power in a coup in 1973. In 1978, he was overthrown by a communist coup. However, people in Afghanistan rebelled against said communism, and in 1979, Soviet forces entered the country to protect the new communist government. Fighting raged for nearly a decade before the Soviets withdrew. This drain of Soviet resources was one of many things that ended the Union. Without Soviet support, the government finally fell in 1992. Various Islamic factions began fighting over the country, one of which was the Taliban, who seized Kabul in 1996 and soon controlled more than 2/3 of the country. US airstrikes began in 1998, and in 2001, after the September 11th attacks, a full-scale US invasion began. The Taliban were initially routed before, in 2021, they finally retook the country.